Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We will call the Harrison County Commission meeting for October 6th to order. If you would rise and join me in the Lord's Prayer, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number one, public comment period. And I believe we have several signed up here to speak.
Nicholas Wright, on there first.
Hello, Nicholas Wright, 238 College Street, Clarksburg. Thank you for taking time to hear my concern for the new rehabilitation plant that's going to be located on 200 Medwood Plaza, Route 98. I first would like to show my appreciation for Delta Life Solutions, the efforts that they make to rehabilitate the victims of the opioid dependency and aiding to making our community healthier as a whole. I do not present myself today in opposition of the clinic nor its operations. I'm simply just opposed to the location to the Medwood Plaza. I've recently moved back to Harrison County with my wife, and we proudly purchased our first home in the city of Clarksburg. We've met with great neighbors in our community, and some of which I'm unofficially representing today. Currently, our small neighborhood is dealing with relentless migrant trespassers, ruthless opportunists who have stolen from our neighbors, and unimaginable noise complaints in the late hours. Currently, I imagine this has to be very taxed or very a nuisance for very taxed law enforcement agencies. My property is currently 40 feet from Medwood Plaza, and my neighbor's property, who I represent today, actually touches the properties through the parking lot. I do not feel that this is adequate buffering between the two zones. There's no privacy fencing. There's less than adequate lighting in the rear of the property to deter any crime or unwanted trespassers. With the abundance of commercial property that is available in the Harrison County area today, I feel like there is an opportunity to allow for better buffer zones, closer to more amenities, and also access to public transportation that also have less impact on the residential communities. I just feel like there just simply has to be an alternative solution. I feel like it would be a reasonable request to ask both parties involved to reconsider allowing Delta Life Solutions to relocate to a different address as opposed to 200 on Medwood Plaza, and to allow both parties to seek demarcation, or a clear, concise demarcation line, I should say, between both the residential and the commercial properties. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Marino?
Yes, I'm Jimmy Marino, and mayor of the city of Clarksburg, and I've received several complaints on this issue, and I originally explained to them that it was not in the city limits, the plaza. I thought it was in Nutter Fort, and I contacted the city of Nutter Fort and spoke with Mr. Max and the mayor, and it's not in the city of Nutter Fort either. It's just one of those properties are out there, and I guess it would be county responsibility. I just basically wanted to, be aware of what was going on, so when the folks would call me, I could have an explanation. I understand the commission's hands are probably tied in certain situations, and I do understand that, but I understand the complaints of the residents, their concerns, and I just wanted to come here to gather some information, so when I'm contacted, at least I can have a reasonable explanation of what's going on with this property. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Annette Wright?
I express my concerns as well, and I agree with Nick completely. We're not here to oppose the We just think the location is not appropriate. This is a very quaint neighborhood. The city of Clarksburg faces many problems already with vagrants and loitering and things like that, dilapidated housing. I think this is going to really be detrimental to that neighborhood, and I want to maintain, let's go to maintain the integrity of the neighborhood. And I just think if we all could work together, we could probably find a location that would better suit their needs as well as protect the interest of the residents in that area.
Thank you.
Mr. Darcy?
Oh, yes, I am here to present 95 more names from residents of Shinston and surrounding areas that are against paving our rail trail in Shinston. Mr. Hinkle, we are asking you to make these signatures and all the previously submitted names become a part of the official record. We would also like the letter from the Shinston Council to be also part of that record. And I just have one other thing to say. On September 29th, member of the commission was on local news during the Today Show asking residents to vote to approve levies that would benefit the residents of Harrison County. This commissioner also wanted input from residents of the Harrison County communities about what they wanted the commission to do to improve their communities. The residents of Shinston and surrounding communities are doing just that. And that's basically all I have to say. Thank you for your time and have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Mr. Hinkle?
I'm here today to represent myself as a citizen of Harrison County. I've listened to this gentleman come into this commission and other people, including myself as a citizen, try to understand that not one person has walked in support of what you all are trying to do with the rail trails. We've had a gentleman continuously come in and tell you that his community with signatures does not want this. I don't understand why a commission would be so against what citizens are asking them to do and not supporting them in their endeavor instead of supporting your own endeavor. Also, as far as concerning the area in Harrison County that where this rehab wants to go, I have always advocated before I became a commissioner and while commissioner for zoning. This commission and previous commissions have fought zoning. And I think today is just another example of how the commission has failed the citizens and myself as a citizen to protect us by not implementing zoning so that people can control what happens in and around their communities. Because what's happened today can only get worse. And as a citizen, I'm willing to work with any of you all if you want to start some kind of program or to help fight what's about to happen over by you all, because I feel that this has happened more than once and it needs to be corrected. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? I want to thank you all for coming today. Thank your comments and try to figure out if and what we can do. But I, as well as, and I probably should be speaking, I'm speaking for myself, but I will do whatever I can do to help. I don't know as a commission what we can do because I believe this is regulated by other agencies, but we will see what we can do. or I will see if there's anything I can do, and again, I will do whatever I can. Thank you. Okay, number 2, consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved, please.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Payroll change notice.
Madam President,
Yes.
motion to approve, but no retroactive. All pay scale will change effective today. On a person.
Thank you.
Which also will incorporate agenda item number 17.
Motion's been made to approve number 3, except for retroactive, on any that are retroactive. It will be as of today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Discussion.
Okay,
I thought we gave Peggy Bailey the job last week.
That is correct, we did.
So I'm not sure I understand promotion. If we hired her for this job. So I need an explanation for
Do you mean about the retro thing?
the whole.
well, it has to be approved by the commission.
Correct.
There has to be a payroll change notice.
No.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
When did we do a payroll change for her? When did we approve that?
That's what this is on today, correct?
Okay, well, let's discuss what was paying her and who came up with the number there. Because that's our responsibility. We set the budget. And I have no idea how much from the information or does the public, how much money she's making. And I don't remember sitting down and discussing last week the pay raise. And this does not talk about pay raises, it just says a promotion. And somebody's added pay raise to it.
Last week, our discussion was that she would be promoted to the Director of Emergency Management.
Yes, and we had conversation in executive session. And at no point was a raise discussed.
Is this staff recommendation?
This is staff recommendation.
The motion approved with staff recommendation on pay raises.
I'd like further discussion. According to our employee benefits. If we're not going to follow the book, then I want to throw the book out, but. The commission compensates employees in accordance with decisions by the county commission as budgets are set. Pay for any given position is subject to the annual budgetary process and such be subject to increase, reduction, or status quo. The constitutional official or town administrator may make a suggestion about salary compensation, but all other pay concerns and final decision will be with the county commission.
Thank you, David. Call the question, Madam President.
No, you can't call the question. I want to know when and how much.
This is her suggestion.
Okay, what is it?
It is moving from a 4.8,
How
which
much
is
is that?
$46,051,
Mm-hmm.
to a C1, which is $55,733.
And why was that picked? Is that in the budget?
That is in the budget. I looked at what the previous salary was for the director, what has been budgeted, and I fell within those guidelines. It is my recommendation to bring in front of you my suggested pay raise for her and her promotion. And I'm
When
sorry,
did you submit that to us?
I am currently submitting it right now. You got a copy of it on Monday.
I didn't get words to comes out of the budget.
Just told you.
We've never done this before.
We've
This is
never
all-
done-
This is all new. You guys just keep changing the way this commission's operated. Commission's always determined the pay raises.
And once again,
Well, we'll just
Commissioner
go
Hinkle,
on to
thank
the
you
next
so
In
much for your
this
comments. And
manner,
call the question, Madam President,
No.
please. Thank
But
you.
through cost, we're gonna talk
No,
about.
let's
Mr.
go get
Hamrick.
on with the meeting,
No.
Madam President.
You can't follow Patsy.
Yes, I can.
No,
You've
you
spoken
can't.
and you're not gonna beat a dead horse at every meeting.
Uh,
Madam
my
President,
beat
thank
dead
you.
horse. I wanna know when we voted,
We're gonna vote on it right now.
vote on what? Danny Hamrick?
We're gonna vote on A through F right now.
So you're not voting on C.
I'm voting through A through F right now.
Well, you can't vote on C because we've never
I can vote on it
determined
right
what we're
now.
gonna do.
It's on the agenda. I'm gonna call the question,
It's on
Madam
the
President.
agenda, Patsy, later
can he call
on.
it to question? I know there's a little,
It's
I
on
don't
the
mean to
agenda
keep asking you,
determine
I don't
whether
mean to
this
ask,
person-
keep asking you questions, Trey,
She
but
does
I've
not
read,
have the right to hire this person and present.
right now, I
this
want to
us.
know if this can be called a question.
I'd like to see you all discuss, it can certainly be called the question, but we need to have
Okay,
some
I
candor.
would
We need to
too.
have some candor up there, and you all need to talk about these things. My objection was retro pay, that's been removed. To the extent you all want to approve it, let's talk about it a little bit. And then let's address Commissioner Hinkle's questions, and then let's move it forward.
I'd like to know when Danny Hamrick was made temporary maintenance director. And who authorized that?
Once again, I believe Laura has the right to
No,
do
she
that.
doesn't. Not according to the.
You say that, Dave.
Okay.
And I know this has been done in the past. I'm not gonna bring any past up,
Well, please, I want you to
but
bring it
no, I'm
up.
not doing it. And Susan Thomas, believes Laura has the right to bring anything before us for review, discussion, and consideration, and we can vote on it. And if this is what she feels, then here we are, we're here to discuss it. And I personally don't have a problem with either one of these.
Well, I'm just trying to understand why then we bothered to put Mr. Hamrick on the agenda to discuss whether we were going to hire him or not. And I didn't get to discuss it. She just did it on her own. So what's?
Well, you have the right to discuss it right now. You're
Oh,
asking for discussion.
I want to discuss it where it's on the agenda. It's
Well,
on the agenda to discuss this.
Okay, well,
So-
it's letter C under 3, so
No,
let's discuss.
it's under item.
Oh, so you don't want to discuss this now?
This isn't where it gets discussed. This is approved payroll
Okay.
changes.
Okay.
I want to
Okay,
discuss
so the
whether or not we're
motion's
gonna
been
hire him.
made, the motion's been made to approve number 3A through F, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Are you ready to vote? And then we'll discuss wherever it is later. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Well, I don't know either, Susan. It's on the agenda to review and discuss Danny Hamrick for hiring someone else. This person took it upon herself to
Because-
change an agenda item where I had discussion to hiring Danny Hamrick, and she knew that I put him on the agenda to discuss hiring,
John,
and now she has not.
please go to
Done
Danny
that.
Hamrick.
Which one is
I'm sorry, Commissioner Hinkle, you have wrong information. I did the payroll change notice. Please pull up Danny Hamrick's payroll change notice before you
Okay.
submitted the agenda item for number
And
7.
did you tell me at that point that you'd already hired him?
No, because I didn't hire him. It was my recommendation, but you
Did you
have
tell
made
me
it,
that you recommended him?
you have made it clear I cannot remove any of your agenda items.
And
So,
did you make it clear to me that you had done this?
no, I didn't.
So how did I know that it needed to be pulled or changed?
You saw the,
After the fact,
You
Susan,
saw-
on the 11th, at 11 o'clock, I
You
can't
saw
change
it,
anything.
but you,
Scroll down a second, John, please.
Should we just move?
Well, I don't want to become the
I
the
don't,
police on your own.
I don't want you either, I want you to either.
Your agenda and your direction, because that's really not the role of your lawyer. That's not what I should be doing. So a motion's been made, address the motion, and you can address the discussion. Again, it'll be basically,
It's pointless at that point.
it'll be redundant, because of the way it's structured in the agenda.
Motion's
The
been,
administrator's fault.
motion has been made to approve number 3A through F.
I'd still like to know how much it's making,
Well, Mr. Hamrick will move from a 12.6, which
how
is,
much in dollars. I'm tired of this little letter game that's not information that the public has access to.
this is our pay scale that we
The
have.
public doesn't have
Okay,
access.
so we
to
are
this. All
moving-
this information is public.
We are
So
moving,
spit the numbers out.
from 58,427 to a G2, which is 68,548.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No,
Motion carried. It is 10:21, and I believe we have a 10:15 estate hearing. Monica sued Guzzi Estate.
Commissioners, hope you're all doing well this morning.
Guzzi Estate,
Mr. Clark,
join us. They just said over there and back there. Is there anybody else out here? For the Guzzi Estate? Anyone else out
You are with the Guzzi Estate?
Yeah.
Okay, if there is any, whoever is involved, we're going to be testifying in this matter. Could you please stand and identify yourself?
My name's Danelle McCray. I'm Monica Guzzi's niece.
Nicole Guzzi, your daughter?
Travis Guzzi, your son?
And they've all been, you all have been served of the notice, correct? And you have that in the file, John? Okay. Who are all the interested parties? Can you tell me that, Richard?
yes, the interested parties are Danelle McCray, who's the petitioner, and then Nicole Guzzi and Travis Guzzi as the intestate beneficiaries, the children, and then Randy Wilmus and Flo McNamee are the beneficiaries in the holographic will. They're siblings of Monica Guzzi.
And all have been served? Do we have, you have record of that? You have that, I already asked you that, that's right. Okay, those that are going to testify, do you want to stand and raise your right hand, please? Or that may testify? I mean, is there going to be a need for,
I think that Danelle McCray may need to testify on that one.
do you swear that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this estate matter?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, petitioner.
So essentially what we have, commissioners, and the commissioners have the packet and everything in front of them, or do you need copies of everything? Well, if you'd like, I've got bench brief and the exhibits if you'd like them, and including a copy for the clerk.
Have those been filed?
They have not.
Okay, let's deem them filed and admit them as part of the record for today. That's acceptable to the commission.
I have one extra copy. Mr. Silverman, if you'd like one. Thank you. Glance at. Essentially what I did was I set forth the legal background and then a short factual recitation. But the main issue is on exhibit 1, which is the will we've requested to be brought into probate, which is on page 5 of the document, is we have a situation wherein Ms. Guzzi did a state of West Virginia living will through United Hospital Center. And our belief in intention was that was intended to be her last will and testament. Because as she has on it, she has multiple writings on there that are outside the bounds of what a living will would be. It discusses in there that she does not want her children to get anything. She wants her home and everything in it to be sold. The money will go to her brother, Randy Wilmoth, and Flo McNamara, pay off her bills fast. It is signed by her, it is addressed, and that's what we're asking for today, is that this be admitted as her holographic will, and under case law, it would ignore all the typed notes on there. So it would be treated as essentially a blank piece of paper, but with her handwriting. In terms of establishing her handwriting, both Flo McNamara and Randy Wilmoth have provided affidavits verifying her handwriting. Those are attached as exhibits 3 and 4. And Ms. McCrae can testify as well as to the accuracy and validity of her handwriting if the commission so desires. The other thing we point out is she tried to do this multiple different ways, and I think that the holographic will is the best way. On exhibit 2, she took some notepads from Erie Insurance, so I think just a small 3x5 notepad that you get, and she wrote out on that. So she also tried to do these. This is exhibit 2. And what this does is, again, it goes forth through that she wants her property to be sold, expenses paid, and the money given to her siblings, Flo and Randy. And then again, in her power of attorney, which is of record, which is exhibit 5, she stated the same thing, that she wanted the principal to sell her property, pay off her expenses, and then divide the money between her siblings. So again, she did what obviously we've seen a number of people do. I know that this commission has seen it multiple times where people tried to do a holographic will and didn't do it as nicely as we'd like to see it. And in this situation, we of course would ask that the United Hospital Center State of West Virginia will be treated as a holographic will with the ignoring of the typed language within it.
What are those two pieces of paper?
This is exhibit 2, and I'm happy to show if you like to see it.
No, that's all right.
And the way on your exhibit 2, page 1, these obviously are front and back. So the number 1 is one sheet, number 2 is the second sheet, and on the next page, 1B is the backside of page 1, 2B is the backside of page 2. It's difficult to explain how that works exactly. And I will point out for the record that the originals do not have that 1B or 2B on it. Those were added post copy. So they are indicated number 1 and then number 2, but we had some way to differentiate the front and back of the document. And what we've included this for is just to show that if you look at the case law, there is the ability to look at extrinsic evidence when the holographic will is slightly unclear to try to determine if that's what she was trying to do. And we think that furthers the evidence that she was attempting to create a will to set forth her last wills and her last desires. And that's what we think that these documents, along with the power of attorney, does. But of course, you don't put your last wishes in your durable power of attorney. So
My understanding is holograph will has to be wholly in the testator's signature handwriting. And this is not wholly in her handwriting. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
it is to be wholly in the handwriting. However, the court has indicated, the Supreme Court has indicated that you can strike out when there's typewritten notes. And so if it's partially typewritten, as long as you can understand and contemplate that as a will based upon her writing, then it's still valid. So the fact that there is writing on this paper is not fatal to the issue. The issue is if you look at just her writing on here, then is that sufficient to create a will? And our position is that it is. There's also the possibility that you could consider the Exhibit 2 to be a will as well with these little handwritten notes.
I can live with that.
Well, they
We know
do.
that's so wholly in her hand.
They do the
I mean, that's
same.
just me speaking.
They do the same thing. they end up being the same position. And this is the original of them. So of course, anybody wants to look at it, happy to do that. So we have no problem using these documents, these little notes as the will as well. It still gets you to the same point, which is Ms. Guzzi won her property sold, expenses paid, and then the money divided amongst her two siblings. And again, the use of the language to pay all my expenses and to divide that is evidence of her intent to do the will. They talked about it in the case that we cite in Ray Tubert's. And I'm happy to have Ms. McCray verify the writing if there's any question on that, or if there's any other question about what her intent was. But basically, they were trying to do this, and as I said, we've seen, it's rare when I've seen a holographic will come to me where they just simply wrote down, I, Richard Marsh, want to make this my last will and testament, and I give all my stuff to Susan Thomas and John Spires and Mr. Hinkle and Commissioner Treecost. So it's rare when that happens. There's always something weird and wonky about them.
The nurse's handwriting. Do we know who else?
The nurse's handwriting.
Commissioner Thomas indicated that there are two sets of handwriting on here. Is this all in her hand, Richard?
I believe that you believe this is all her
No,
hand?
I didn't know that. I mean, I'm just the print. That's
Yeah,
what
she-
I'm,
She
that's
was
what I
focused on the
mean.
print.
Thank you.
That's what I'm referring to.
And of course, again, Ms. McCray can testify to the handwriting, but it is all in
It is all in
first person, indicating it would be that.
Thank you.
So we would move that either Exhibit 1, which I believe that the clerk has the original of, be admitted to probate, or in the alternative, Exhibit 2, which I'm holding the original of, be admitted to probate, the holographic will.
Do you all, I mean, you didn't wish to speak to any of this?
We had an original will also made up that was in her safe at our home. I haven't been able to be on our property to find it, but we also had one made up and notarized. And these papers look like she's writing a note to herself, like, please help me, thanks, like, how's that a will? I don't know, I'm confused.
I have text messages with my Aunt Monica as to whether or not she had any existing wills before asking me to help her. And her response was no. I just put that up on my phone. It wasn't her signature.
Do you have anything further to add?
I do have one more thing, I'm sorry to add. Officer or Deputy Shingleton, who showed up on the scene after she was deceased, because she was found deceased in her home. I was out of town, I was in Florida. He took pictures because it was required for evidence as they were investigating the cause of death. And in those pictures, in her bedroom where she was laying a copy of the original will that he submitted the first time with probate, the one that's from United Hospital Center. That's in Deputy Singleton's photographs of the scene when he was on site the day of discovery.
Anything further, Mr. Marsh?
Nothing at this time.
Was there any other will?
As far as I'm aware, there was no other will. Have you ever found another will?
No, and I'll show you the text message from Monica regarding, was there ever another will that had been written?
Can you all supplement the record with the text messages?
Absolutely.
As well as the picture of the location of where the note was found? If we're gonna look at extrinsic evidence, we're gonna look at all of it to make a decision.
So we're happy to do that.
Thank you. Can I ask a small question? You had indicated a will was drafted. When Was that something you saw your mother prepare? Did you ever see her put it in the safe? Did you all have the combination to the safe?
I do not have the combination.
Okay.
She was notarized. She took her.
I took it to get her notarized and then we put it in our safe.
Was it drafted by a lawyer? Was it something off
I actually printed the papers off of the Harrison County your website, and we just started filling them out, and then I went and got them notarized.
Okay, and you believe that to be in the safe at the primary residence right now?
Last place.
Last place,
What was the time frame of that?
it was 2019,
Okay.
I mean, June 2019, I believe.
And was it typed or handwritten?
It was handwritten. The United Hospital document is dated September 2019. The power of attorney is dated 2020 of September. And the handwritten documents were sometime in 2020.
So
So all of those would have been,
for the record, the handwritten documents, you mean these little Erie insurance, so this was the last document written of the documents that we have.
Did she say when?
the one that was filed with the court was the last.
No, that one's September 2019.
The power of attorney.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Ask a couple more questions. Who else had access to the safe? Did anybody else have access? Is it a big bank vault? Is it a little fire safe that you carry around with the key?
The deputy
Okay,
said there was no safe in the property because when I talked to him while they were investigating, and they were on scene for multiple hours, I would say 4. And I talked to him on the phone and I asked him to take into custody any safe that he was able to locate. He looked all over, said he was unable to locate a safe, but he did take pictures of the will that were in the house.
okay, thank you for doing that. Just trying to back out.
No.
I guess I'm confused by 2B. Travis and Nikki.
Travis and Nikki are her children.
Can you identify your name for the record, just so we have a clear record? Both of you.
I'm Nikki on the papers with Nicole.
Okay, Nicole, what?
Guzzi.
Thank you.
I'm Travis Guzzi.
Thank you.
So you are Travis and Nikki?
Yes.
Who's the life insurance policy made out to?
Life insurance policy had me as the beneficiary, Janelle McCray. She was under the assumption that she had a $10,000 policy and she wanted me to use the expenses as notated in the power of attorney to pay for her funeral. That's what she wanted it to be paid for. However, she had just opened the policy in October of 2020. And she had to be in the policy for 3 years in order for her to receive the full amount of the policy. So when I spoke with the life insurance company, they were only able to distribute the amount that she had paid in, which was approximately $520 some, which was immediately sent to the funeral home to cover, and she still has outstanding expenses at the funeral home, but 100% of the distribution from the life insurance policy went straight to the funeral home. And there's no further funds available from it.
Any further questions?
What bothers me that because somewhere she said she had Travis and Nikki were happy.
That's the will I was talking about that we made.
That was located in her safe that was in her house. I thought the safe disappears, but she had a safe in her home.
But this was after that. Is that correct?
What?
This writing is after that.
Yes.
I don't know, it's not dated.
Well, it's not.
It was her life insurance too, because I got papers in the mail too, from her life insurance.
That me and her were still on as beneficiaries.
Mutual of-in-law.
I got
And
actually,
actually- It's indicated in the power of attorney. She actually spelled out the policy number and the life insurance holder.
okay, well, this is from one name,
Merit, this is Merit something, Merit Life.
Merit Life, I got it.
Well, we're just here to determine
Mhm.
what to do with the writing in front of us.
Right, and of course, the will will not change the life insurance beneficiaries. So,
And I don't think that's a issue today.
Ms. McCray, when were these notes made?
Those were written prior to the power of attorney that was created. She sent those in a packet of information with the deeds to her trailer and the title to her car and asked me to help her with making sure that her children didn't get anything.
And when you say power of attorney, you mean the general durable power of attorney that's of record at the
Yes.
courthouse? Okay.
Yes.
Which for the record, that was recorded on 9/10/2020. It's Exhibit 5 in the packet. It's book number 1690 at page 97.
So these notes don't coincide with the living power of attorney or living will.
The will
Okay.
that is from United Hospital Center, she did it on her own and
Okay.
I wasn't
So
even.
these notes don't go with that?
No.
Okay.
And so after she sent the packet of information, I told her that in a couple of weeks I would come by and sit down and talk to her and find out exactly what her intentions were and figure out how to help her get something documented. So that's when we did the general verbal power of attorney because I'm not aware of what the official documents were that were required, so that actually spells out what the wishes were. In addition to the United Hospital Center document that she prepared before she reached out to me. And the handwritten post-it notes, which was her request for him.
Now, my issue is with the date, as far as that goes, there's no, if there's another,
Yeah, my recommendation would be for today to take it under advisement until we get the additional evidence, get the picture, the text messages, the deputy's report, let the other interested parties try to produce evidence of the will, or pictures of the safe, or description of the safe, or an affidavit.
We're not permitted into the home, but since they've already went through the house and there's no safe, I have no idea what would have happened in that instance.
Dog room, per se.
They were in the dog room because the dog was deceased. Like I said, I did ask the deputy and I'll reach out to him and if we need to subpoena him to testify. He searched throughout the whole house to try and find a safe of any source. And there was probably 4 or 5
We don't
people in
accept
the
this
house.
today. Their next steps take the circuit court. Right.
They're gonna end up in circuit court.
I just say that my motion is not to accept what's presented today.
motion's been made not to accept what has been presented today. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
we can prepare an order to that effect.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Sam was supposed to be here at 10:30. You're at 10:30. Okay. At 10:45.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam.
Don't
Good
say
morning.
you have your issue in here, and you have a lawyer, I think, so maybe don't go separate ways today.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair.
Didn't know you had to be a referee too. Floor is yours.
Good morning. I do have some updates to provide the commission. I would request that we go in executive session so I can provide you with those updates and commission be better informed.
Motion of executive session.
Pursuant to and for the reason of.
Discussing matters pursuant to attorney-client.
Okay.
An update on the opiate regulation.
County attorney, county administrator, and members of commission.
Motion's been made to go into executive session pursuant to state code and client attorney privilege. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. And there's nothing, no action needs to be taken on the executive session. So we'll move on to, okay, we have Lorna Conley Estate at 10:45. We didn't know if they were gonna.
Only estate? Only estate? Only estate?
And you have some information on that, John, right?
I
Why
do.
we think they're not here?
They came down to our office earlier this morning and looked at all of the papers that we had, and they had seen that the estate has everything's been settled with it. So really, this would just be a technicality for them to be appointed. There's no work to be done any longer. I think once they had seen that, they had maybe changed their mind, but again, this is kind of secondhand info, but they were supposed to perhaps reach out to you all here and let you know that, but I don't suppose they did. But it would be our recommendation that we would just close the estate. Everything has already been finalized.
It's already been done.
Right.
So there's no action to be taken on that from the commission, correct? Okay. 11 o'clock. Funding request. Treasured Memories Club, Becky
Yes,
Goff.
ma'am. Hello, how are you all? I am Becky Goff, Vice President of the Treasure Memory Club. This is Miss Thelma Martin. She is one of the oldest members and the founder of the LWOP Community Building,
The legend.
which we all love. We are trying to have a fundraiser the 5th and 6th of November from 11 to 6. And we are going to do this as a carry-out pizza sale because of some of the COVID restrictions and stuff. And we're going to try to follow the social distancing. In the spring, we were planning on having a spring festival, but at this time, we have not set a date or a time. Let's see. All of our contributions and fundings will be placed on all of our supplies that we need for ourselves and for our spring festival. It also helps keep the upkeep and the expenses of our building. It also helps the people in our community with, dinners.
community cleanups, flood relief, house fires, and whatever help that we can do for our community. And anything that you can help us with is more than appreciated very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve $2,000 allocation, Madam President.
Motion to approve $2,000 allocation. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Thank you very much. We
Good
appreciate
to
it.
see you.
Thank you.
I came along because I always like to talk to the
Yeah.
all my friends,
Well, it's good to see you.
and I miss you very much.
Well, hopefully we'll see you in November.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, take care.
And you can always get a hold of Miss Thelma or someone, or like I said, our pizza cell is carry out. We're trying to get as many orders as we can. We will have a few extra if you just want to stop by. And our times are from 11 until 6, and it can be cooked or non-cooked. Thank you. We appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Okay, number 4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meeting. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve.
I have an issue.
Okay, Mr. Tinkle has an issue.
Or C. 11 o'clock, bid opening. An exclamation to Hinkle silence.
And then it said he voted no.
Typically, that would not be there, so that is my mistake. That should not be there at all. I apologize.
Any other?
No, just that.
So are you okay with amending your motion to make that change? Sure. Okay. And the motion's been made to approve with the exception of making the change to 4C, taking out that Mr. Hinkle was silent. Is that correct? Is that sufficient?
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Requisitions, purchase orders, invoices.
Motion approved.
Motion's been made to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Yeah, I'd like to know the payment, West Banco. What that entails. Is that just our standard payment?
Which one is it?
35820.
That is. It's the interest payment for the building. Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, Laura. Anything else?
If it's just strictly an interest,
It's an interest and principal payment for the GSA building.
that's 1 month.
Or one payment. We have a schedule of, I want to say, 2 payments. And it's going to go up each payment, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Exoneration, corrective tickets, joint property applications. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved.
I guess we just have exonerations, under A. Okay, motion's been made to approve the exonerations. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
None, motion carried. Consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of Series 2019 bonds for Charles Point Economic Development Authority.
Motion approved A for $2,568.75 and B for $75, please.
Okay, the motion's been made to approve 7A and B. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 8, consideration of approval of project fund requisition for the General Services Administration building from the Series 2020 bonds.
Motion approved A for $1,302,547.78.
A motion's been made to approve 8A for the amount listed. Any further discussion? Hearing none,
Architect signed off on this.
hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider GSA change order 003.
The only thing that I would like to mention about this change order, there was actually a discrepancy in the addition for it. So there was a $90 calculation error. So instead of $9,966, it's actually $9,876 for this change order.
Thank you. Motion as stated.
Find that again, please.
There was a calculation error of $90. So instead of the 9,966 total, it's actually 9,876.
A motion's been made to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 10, review, discuss Harrison County Commission employee manual. Is that okay? I don't know if you gave me a hard copy. Is this your item, Mr. Hinkle?
Yes, ma'am. Page 7.
You need a copy, Trevor.
I have it on my phone.
You want,
I'll just-
because I can look at
I'm
it on
used to
here.
using this to look it up.
Your eyes will be cross-eyed. Your eyes are probably better than mine.
Under policy, it says any employee who engages in harassment. I think it also needs to put any constitutional law.
Where are you on page 7? At the bottom?
The bottom, workplace harassment. I think the employees need to know that that also applies to the constitutional officer. If you got any issues with that?
I don't know if I do or not.
I'm sorry, I looked down to the question for the
Off the policy, any employee, I want to add constitutional officer.
Yeah, I mean, initially, I don't see any issue with that. I think that's appropriate. I'm just trying to find some
But
tabs.
my only, I mean, I go back to each elected official can have their own personnel policy. We don't have, the constitutional officials do not have to follow this, is my understanding. If they want to have their own, they can. So how can we, I mean, if we want to do it with the commission, is that what you're,
Yeah.
okay, okay, just commission. Okay, there you
Commission
go.
of Constitution. Commission of Constitution.
Okay.
That's a good point.
I do it once in a while. Not very often.
And Commissioner Hinkle, if it's okay with you, I'm just gonna mark what you gave me, if that's all right.
Yeah.
As we go through it, just trying to find something that could be, can do it. Well, that's awesome. There's tabs, but that's all right.
You're welcome.
Next. There you go.
Page 8. Yeah, procedure. Um,
This does include constitutional officials in the procedure.
Correct. So we either strike them or leave them. Something that I'd like Trey is to determine and come up with a definition of what county commissioners is.
Definition of what, sir? I'm sorry.
County commissioners. Okay. Does that mean you get to bring it to Laura and she takes care of it, or does that mean that you bring it to the three of us? It doesn't. It seems to be here lately ambiguous on how this is brought to the commission. So it says shall be brought to Harrison County Commission. So if it involves the county commissioner, it's supposed to go straight to the prosecuting attorney.
You're on page 9.
Yes, sir.
Got a tab.
Next.
Continuing on there, where every employee has an obligation to report any discriminatory conduct. Every employee does not comply with this policy shall be subject to disciplinary action and up to including termination of employment by the county. Or appropriate constitutional officer, again, it says county commissioner, commission, it does not say anything about county administrator. So I'm not sure. According to this, the county administrator cannot act on anything that's as far as a sexual harassment or conduct unbecoming. Am I reading that wrong?
It takes me a couple times to read through this to make sure I understand it, so I can't. I'm not gonna
Well,
make
I just,
recommendations
the
right now.
definition of county commission is where the issue is. That's where my hang up this season. I read this and I'm an employee. I don't know whether it's three of us that's gonna discipline you for it or if it's gonna be the county administrator.
Yeah, and just as a comment, there are multiple ors throughout this section as well as the disciplinary section of the policy, which I trust is where we're gonna go eventually. That say, in some cases, administrator or county commission.
Yeah, but this one doesn't say that.
It says county commission or appropriate constitutional official, that's correct.
Page 15. Recruiting, hiring, and employment. Applications for employment should not be taken unless there is an immediate vacancy to be filled. In the event it is necessary to solicit employment applications to fill a vacancy, constitutional officers free to but not required to utilize existing applications on file for expediency in filling positions. I'm not sure that, how that applies to the commission. The applications on file not within the 6 months from the date of vacancy, the position shall be posted or advertised as outlined below. I'd like you to look at that because I'm not sure we're following that. Is it down in vacancies on how all vacancies will be announced in the following manner? They'll be at least posted on the courthouse bulletin board, first floor for a period of no less than 5 days, and may be advertised for a period of no less than 3 days, or no less than 5 days advertised in the papers for a period of no less than 3 days on the Harrison County website. So I think we're gonna have to clean that up because I know we're not dealing with this says. I'm not even sure where we're advertising. So we need to outline how we're going to advertise in the future so that people understand how jobs will be posted. So we've made it very ambiguous. Page 16, advise and consent. Department head or constitutional official must complete the proper process for advertising a position and complete the selection process, deriving the best candidate for the position based solely on the applicant's qualification for the position. It doesn't say anything in here that says department head or constitutional officer. It's not saying anything about the county administrator. And complete the selection process, deriving the best candidate for the position based solely on the applicant's qualifications for the position. The department head or the constitutional official must obtain the advice and consent of the county commission prior to extending an offer of conditional employment or hiring of a qualified applicant. We might as well strike that because we don't do that. There was no advice and consent for the Harrison County Commission in the recent hirings.
Okay, when I spoke with these individuals, I asked them if they would be interested. And I also said this is pending commission approval. So there's no offer extended until commission approves it at the commission.
Handed me a pay slip that says that this person's been hired, it's not advised of this. Must submit proper documentation, including the payroll change notice to the county commission for approval. And upon the commission's approval, the qualified applicant may be offered a position, not before. After we approve, you can offer them the job. We do not do this. I hope I'm not boring you too much, Patsy.
For your information, you just were photographed.
Oh, he wouldn't know that because he's in his phone. Page 16, under verification, background investigations will be performed on successful applicants of employment conditional upon receipt of all this information for such investigation. The employment application contains certain authorizations. He or she may be disqualified as a candidate if she refuses to sign.
I can read. Can you tell us what your issue is?
The issue is, I don't know if it's done, so I just strike that we just don't have it. We never get presented with it. So we approve, and we have no idea if this information is correct or not, or whether this person passed a background check. So mine is to just scratch it because we never said. We take the word that everything's okay. And I'm for taking words for people doing what's correct. Page 17. I don't know if this is being still continued. For the employee, I know it's been an issue in the past because elected officials say that we can't enforce procedure handbook. I know when Commissioner Thomas was the clerk, she had issues with this.
Yeah, you sort of had people served in the office by process there. I remember it very.
Because we did not get your people to sign receipt of.
That's okay. Okay, carry on.
So I just wanted to be for commission employees. An issue with the elected officials.
Maybe we need to discuss it with the elected officials instead of just taking them out.
If they wish to come back and ask to be added, that's fine. I prefer that they all have their own policies. That way there's no description of this discussion or problems. They can have their own right to change compensation. The county compensates employees in accordance with the decision by the county commission as budgets are set. Pay is for any given position subject to the annual budgetary process.
That's what you read already, isn't it?
We'll read it again. The constitutional official and to increase or reduction of status quo, maintenance for a time period, the county official must, the constitutional official or the county administrator may make suggestions about salary compensation.
Do we have a work session to do this?
No, ma'am.
I just thought I'd ask.
Because trying to get work sessions about possible. Constitutional officer has the final authority to establish. So, but it has to be approved by the county commission for the current fiscal year. Page 29, top of the page, time limits. Employees are reported to work on time and be responsible for appointments and meetings. Further work is to be completed at the time it's due. Frequent tardiness can be resolved in disciplinary action up to including termination of employment. I don't think we worry about this. I never see a report, never hear anything as far as anybody being on time or not being on time for work. Or that work is completed at the time it is due. So I think we need to come up with some other wording here, Trey, because we don't really enforce reports to work on time.
How do we keep track? Do we have a card? Do we have a thumb? Do we have a facial scan? How's it work?
We just
They do a time clock.
time clock, but nobody really cares if you're 10 minutes late. I've never been presented with anybody being late.
We have a rounding policy if people are late. We have one of those.
How late are they allowed to be?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I don't think anybody can give you that answer.
I'm just trying to get some information.
I don't think anybody should be late for work.
What's late?
8:30, at past 8:30. At least for the county commission employees, I can't speak to other offices because I think they have different hours. But that's not up to us either. It's up to the constitutional official.
Commissioner Hinkle, is that something you want me to add to my list of a report you would like to see?
I'd love to know if our employees are late and how much they're being late and leaving early. What it's costing. That was the point of the time clock. It's been in place now for 2 years and we were told it was going to save us money and I've yet to see where it saves us any money. Page 31, employee discipline. Paragraph that starts out with suspension with or without pay for up to 10 working days may be used as a disciplinary tool. And will be memorialized in writing, dated and signed by both the employee, the department head, constitutional officials, and shall be witnessed. A copy of which shall be sent to the Harrison County Commission to review for compliance with local, state, and federal procedures, regulations, and statutes. I need to understand, Trey, if you could break out what Harrison County Commission to review for compliance. Because I don't think that recently we were given anything to review for compliance. And I've yet to see anything. I think suspension without pay up to 10 working days is too long. I'd like to see it reduced to 5. And anybody that's suspended for 5 days without pay has to be approved by the commission. Next paragraph, termination of an employee will be memorialized in writing, dated and signed by the department head or the constitutional official, immediately sent to the county administrator of the office of the Harrison County Commission within 48 hours before the actual termination of employment. Should an employee commit an immediate terminal offense, said employee shall be suspended without pay pending termination. This whole paragraph needs to be rewritten. Very ambiguous. It allows for no county commission input. And it needs to state no employee can be terminated without the county commission's approval. Because we're the ultimate employer. And this is for commission employees only. Guidelines on discipline. Examples of offense as a result of verbal warning. I'd like to see C and G removed, placed into section 2. Those are foul or abusive language and horseplay. Section 3. Item E, falsification of records, including time worked. Move to section 1. I'd like this copy, John, to be made part of today's agenda and to be filed with the agenda, please. Any questions, Trey?
No, sir, I have all the notes. I also have this policy in Word. I'll make the notations and present them to the county administrator for your all's consideration. I'll also review it to see if I find anything else that seems inconsistent or ambiguous.
Thank you.
You finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, number 11. Review, discuss Harrison County Administrator job description.
County, back in last one I was able to find was in 94, described what the county administrator does.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, you said 1994?
That's the one that I was sent. You have a more up-to-date position description, that would be fine.
Look at the last paper in your packet. It should have a revision date of 5/17/13.
Really. Any big changes that I can see just right off that, but we put out for job application. Under it, said Parks and Rec, that needs taken away from the county administrators. Description, they are not they don't oversee Parks and Rec. We also,
What about the report center, the report?
oh, well, yep, take that one away too. And the old one, I think the biggest issue is we're gonna use the new one. Then I make a motion that the one that was put out for the position that was filled be accepted except for provide full scope project and concept design completion of county projects. First, reviewing contract services to design construction, that should be left to legal.
Is that a motion you'd like us vote for us to vote on now?
Yes, ma'am.
There's been a motion made to strike from the current job description for the administrator to provide full project scope services from concept, that paragraph
Yes, ma'am.
above knowledge, skills, and abilities.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
Any
And
further discussion?
And the strike Parks and Rec and community service.
Any further discussion? To strike those other two as well? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
So what are we going to use for the county administrator description?
Well, we just referred to the most current one.
You guys just voted it down. No, we haven't
No, I
approved anyone.
didn't, but you wanted to strike those two
Right.
from that.
There's a policy, the last policy I have that was formally adopted as a job description policy is the 5/17/2013 version from my records. There was a job posting that went out for the current position.
That's your job description.
But in terms of the description, that's the most current description, I believe, the county has.
So actually, that was a posting, not a job description.
And that's what I want to make this a job description, because this job description does not match what you hired.
We can revisit it next week if you want to make it an emotion agenda item again. We've got a motion on the floor. We're moving forward.
Okay, you did want to make a motion now that we accept the one out for the job as a description, not modified. And it will become the new county administrator's job description.
Motion is tabled towards a further work session along with the administrations to do work.
Let's take the first motion first, right?
I think Mr. Treehouse made the last motion.
That's a tree house.
Okay. Mr. Treecost made a motion for a work session to discuss the administrator's job description. Did I get that correct?
And administrator to do work, the next item on the agenda.
Which is and the next agenda item, which is, excuse me.
Who can ask administrator?
Okay, number 12, review, discuss who can ask administrator to do work. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I guess that was an opposition, it was passed.
I have my motion on the floor.
Okay,
A motion on the floor to accept the job description that was posted for the job of county administrator to be the new description for position of county administrator.
motion was made to accept the job posting as the job description for the county administrator. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Parts of the work session, just put this out there. Given some of the stuff that's happened with Parks and Rec and some of the stuff that's been going on, would you all have any objection to me preparing a proposed concept with what we have?
Because we have several agencies that have their own boards. And when we
Yeah.
open this can of worms up,
That's what I'm
that's what you're,
suggesting.
right,
Yeah, I think it makes sense to clean it up, and we've been cleaning it up.
Right.
So let's make the job description reflect that. I'm happy to, I have these, I can.
but I don't know what their bylaws say as far as or what the code says in regards to their employees, those other agencies.
We can talk about it.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay. Number 13, review, discuss, consider B253 contract for FF and EE, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the GSA building. Motion to approve. Any discussion?
That's a question. Under Selling's original contract, under 4.1.9, under their basic services, they did have an interior design aspect to their original underlying agreement
For $85,000.
with the county. Is that what it was for coordination with furniture, furnishings and equipment?
We're gonna pay him $85,000 to measure rooms and make sure furniture fits in.
I just wanted to clarify. Okay,
That's part of the contract.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, signify.
What's the dollar amount of this contract?
85,000.
That's just for furniture.
No, that's not the furniture. That's to decide if furniture fits in the room.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
No.
opposed? Number 14, review, discuss, consider monthly minutes, financial information from various boards, committees, and public service districts A and B.
Motion approved. And
Motion has been made to approve 14A and B. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Number 14, review, discuss, consider reappointment of Bradley Fortney to the Bingham PSD term from November 24, 2021 to 11/24/2027.
Motion approved the report.
Just to clarify, you said 14, it's 15.
Excuse me. Okay, motion's been made to reappoint Bradley Fortney. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider appropriation for the American Rescue Plan funds.
Madam President,
Point of order on that. I do not think that that agenda item contains enough information for the citizens of Harrison County to know what's being discussed about.
Madam President, this time, my recommendation to the commission is that $8 million be given to Greater Harrison, $2.5 million given to Sun Valley, Bridgeport, Clarksburg, and Shinston, $300,000, and more, Waterford, Matterport, Salem, Stonewood, West Milford, all be given $100,000. Falls Creek be given $30,000 plus $70,000 out of the general fund, line item 26 for their community improvement for their parking lot. Wallace would be given $50,000 for their water project, and revenue loss would be $983,000, 690. If there's no determined project start date by September 2023, the money will be taken up by the commission to be determined the dollars should be placed to help the existing projects. All ARP money given to cities and PSD needs to be kept in a separate account so the county can be informed of what and how the dollars are spent. It's the county's responsibility to report this spending to the state and federal treasury. In compliance with the treasury compliance and reporting guidelines, recipients are accountable to the treasury for oversight and their sub-receipts, including insurance their sub-receipts comply with the SLFRF statute, awarded terms and conditions, treasury, interim financial rule, and responsibility required applicable. All ARP awards must be allocated for water, sewer, drainage, and fiber optic projects. This year, then will allow the West Virginia DEP and the West Virginia DPH and the West Virginia Infrastructure Job Development Council to utilize the documents with the binding commitment letters. This letter will be issued to the PSD and the MISMA acknowledge the amount of money allocated for the projects. The letter is necessary to use for requesting other funds and use when filing the Public Service Commission certificate and convenience and the necessity for use of project rates by the accountants. So by allocating this money now, they'll be able to determine the water rates because they'll need more than just a thumbs up that we're going to allocate these dollars. Each report. And this here will then fall under us then to be turn in our own treasury report on state and federal level, Madam President. Motion approved.
Again, this did not have enough information for the public. This sounded informational. This is not being presented to either of the commissioners, at least not for this commissioner. I have not seen any requests from these places, and I don't know who decided how this money was being divided. Is this all from you, Mr. Treecost?
Yes,
Or you had meetings with Commissioner Thomas on this?
no, it's just me.
Excuse me?
It's just me.
Just you.
Mhm.
So you've discussed this with all these entities on your own, and you've represented to them that you're going to give them this money as a commissioner.
Yes, sir. It's my recommendation.
You understand that's against the law.
No,
You don't understand that.
no, this is just a
Trey, would
recommendation.
you like to explain to him that he can't go to individual entities and promise them permission money?
I haven't promised him anything.
First, you
You
raised
just did.
No,
procedurally, first, we have to address the point of order under the rules of parliament, because a point of order basically must be, it breaks the chain, you have to address it. So Commissioner Hinkle raised a question about the description here, it needs to be addressed. That was a lot that you read, and I was trying to follow it in my notes. The description is review, discuss, consider appropriation for the American Rescue Plan. Oh, sorry. Funds. That is the description for you discuss and consider. This is a week going to make a break or break this one way or the other? I understand people have rates, they have to get set, they have water, they have sewer, we have to go to PSC, we have to get convenience necessity. I mean, I would like to push it a week just as a matter of precaution, so the commissioners have time to look at this and consider it.
I'd like to see where they've applied for it, how they're gonna spend it. This isn't the only people that would like this money. I understand that we've had other letters of request for this money,
Yes, I had Jackie Cole.
and they have not been talked about or presented to this commission. And I just don't even begin to understand this. What's revenue loss? Who's that for?
But here's the county commission. We had a $1.6 million revenue loss last year.
Was a week going to make her break it?
Well, when is the
I'd
first
like-
of that?
I'd like some documentation on all this. I can't decide on this.
Well, the purpose would just be to give the commissioners additional time to
And
consider
the
it.
public, I think the public has the right to know what you're doing here.
I think they are gonna know. That every one of these entities are gonna have the opportunity to spend money on water, sewer, and drainage, and fiber optic cable. It's clearly laid out. It's basic common sense, and all of it adds up based on an engineering firm's ability to use these to take it to the PSC to establish rates. There's nothing that's not laid out here, Mr. Attorney.
What's $8 million for Greater Harrison?
It's part of their 10-year plan,
What 10-year plan?
the one that you recommended that they do when you raised the rates last time.
Have we seen that 10-year plan?
I have.
Have you seen it, Susan? Have you been presented with it?
No.
I haven't been presented with it.
You're welcome to attend the meetings. They're open to the public.
You know, Patsy,
They're welcome to come here and ask for the money. To the three of us, not to just one commissioner. This isn't a one commissioner show when it comes to this money.
No, it absolutely is not a one commissioner show. I agree with
Well,
you.
why would you
100%.
ask us to approve something that we didn't have any involvement in? If Ms. Thomas wants to go along with you and approve all this money,
But I didn't
because she
expect,
didn't have any input into it, that's her issue. But
I didn't expect to have your support on this, but I put a lot of effort into it, and it really does make sense based on what the entities are looking for.
where's the effort? I see a one-sheet page that has no explanation. Where's the effort? Explain it to us. I know the newspaper love to know why they're getting $8 million. I'd love to know why Sun Valley's getting $2.5 million, and I want to know why you're giving Bridgeport $300 when they got money already.
They all got money, David,
Okay, so why are we giving it to them?
because we want to support our county and the projects that they know that they need. Nutterport knows what Nutterport's needs. Lumberport knows what.
So we're only supporting 2 PSDs out of this,
Mhm.
but we're going to support cities that got money and the PSD didn't get any money.
Yes.
because Wallace will be short line, correct?
Mhm.
But it's going to the city of Wallace. It's not going to the short line.
No, it's one short line.
It doesn't say that. Well, if you just had, if we'd have passed it, it's going to the city of Wallace.
Well, let's make it, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate.
How about you go through the rest and see what needs correction?
Motion to approve. That is short line, not Wallace. My mistake, Madam President. Thank you for the correction, Mr. Hickman. And then my motion to remove Wallace and include short line.
What's City of Shinston's money for?
Whenever the city of Shinston wants to use it for water, sewer, and drainage.
Doesn't say that.
It does say that.
Where?
It says the last line. ARP money must be allocated to water, sewer, drainage, and fiber optic cable projects. I'll be here a little bit, and if you want to take a picture of it, send it.
Next picture and what?
I mean, this is all to expand water and sewer throughout the county, is that?
100%.
It's not nothing for infrastructure that's failing.
It's all for infrastructure and growth.
How do you grow something when the infrastructure that's in existence is not any good? Why aren't you telling them they have to repair what we already have so we don't put that in leaks?
Because I'm not like you, and I don't want to tell people what to do.
They're not like me. You're the one that told them all that they had to use engineering firms that matched each other. Is that still part of this?
David,
I'm just asking.
you can you can muddy the water all the
I'm
time.
not muddying the
There's no
water,
muddy,
Patsy.
there's
You
no muddy
passed-
water
you
here.
and Susan
This
passed
is
up
an
an agenda item.
this is a credible opportunity for us to change Harrison County forever.
What item did you and I guys?
You guys said that any of these entities where they got close to each other had to use the same engineering firm. And I'm asking if that's still on effect.
We never said that, David. You talk out your,
Your goodness, Patsy. You want me to go get the minutes again?
you know, you do whatever you want. And it doesn't really matter anymore.
I know it doesn't matter to you.
Motion on the floor.
Well,
Question.
it's an illegal motion.
It's not an illegal.
It is an illegal motion.
It is absolutely not an illegal motion for me to recommend something on the floor.
Motion to go into a work session to discuss this so that all three
You
commissioners
know,
have.
I don't even know where to start. Motion to go into work session. I mean, you want a work session for this, not today.
No.
Okay. To discuss the
To discuss.
items.
No, I don't even want to discuss these items. I want to discuss what the three of us think that we ought to do with this money.
I can tell you.
I want you to be able to tell me what you think you'd like to spend.
I've
the money
already
on.
told you what I want to spend the money on.
What are you gonna spend it on?
I'd like to spend it on infrastructure, water and sewer.
This water and sewer,
Yes.
okay?
There. You know what I want to spend it on?
So you want it to be go to PSDs or just these cities?
Oh.
Well, we
I
found
mean,
out.
my hope is they will take the money and expand their system or fix what they have now.
Summit Park. I don't see any money for Eastview. I don't see any money for, Meadowbrook. I don't see any money for any of these other PSDs. We didn't get any federal funding. So if we're doing water and sewage, then why aren't we just giving it to PSD? And why does Greater Harrison and Sun Valley get the 10 million of this 16 million that we have?
I mean,
I
that's,
don't even have an explanation for why we're even giving Sun Valley 2.5 million. It's because Patsy, you want to make sure that people at Lake Floyd have sewage.
I hope they do, sir.
Well, what about the people down at Meadowbrook that need it? Where's their 2.5 million? Or their failing sewage plant? If they have one. So you have two sewage plants failing. One takes care of 150 people and the other takes care of 1,000 people. So why is the 1,000 people being penalized? Can you explain that? Why you chose that one over this one? I mean, I don't know why they got chosen and the other ones didn't. Or they didn't even get to come in and plead their case to the three of us. So I
Have any
have a
other
motion on the
requests,
floor to go to, yes, you have. But they've never been given to us.
I just have Jackie. pull that.
My motion's to postpone this to work session next week. Vice the water board wants money. 3.4 million. Down Stonewood wants 13.
Locust View, that's out off of 19, is that correct?
Mm-hmm, they have a sewage problem. I think. Just struggling.
But these are all the ones that we've got. We haven't got many others.
We haven't really asked to put it out there for anybody, just kind of make a request.
Okay, the motion's been made to have a work session to discuss this issue for next week. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. No.
How much money's left after this passing?
Not a dime.
Hail the king. And the queen. I won my bets.
Motion on,
Told you.
motion on the floor. Susan. Madam President.
Okay, motion is to approve these amounts as presented by Commissioner Treecost. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Review, discuss, consider, appoint Danny Hamrick, head of maintenance, or begin search for job. I think we took care of that already.
Oh, no, I'd like to discuss it.
Motion appointing here instead of maintenance.
Motion to appoint Danny Hamrick as head of maintenance. Okay, discuss.
I'd like to know what his qualifications are.
He's a background as a building inspector. He knows the planning department inside and out and all the codes and regulations that go with that. He's worked for the, fire marshal or in the
So
fire code.
what background does he have in operating equipment? Overseeing the repairs of equipment and vehicles and general maintenance?
His vast
Just being
knowledge,
an inspector, looking at something doesn't give you a background.
no, but he has gathered knowledge throughout the years and he has done a phenomenal job since he's been put in that position. We've had issues.
Phenomenal. Did the generator work the other night and did he come in and get it running?
Well, the generator kicked on for the courthouse the other night, the transfer switch. The transfer switch was broke for the annex side, and he came in and tried to get it working, could not get anyone to come out that night. So the annex side did not take over when we had the power outage. But he had someone here the next day to look at it and try to fix it.
It would be nice to hear him say he wants a job.
Would you like me to have him come up here? He's out.
We brought the other one in before we hired her to talk to her about whether she wanted the job.
That's because she requested an executive session to discuss it with you.
Okay, so he doesn't care.
No, he does care, but he's busy doing his job.
So what does he care about?
He cares
I'm looking
about,
for input here. Does he want the job or not want the job?
he does want the job.
Would like to know what the offer is on pay. I think he would like to be here.
He's a little late for that.
We've already discussed that.
Okay.
You guys discussed it. We did.
We just discussed it earlier in the meeting.
Yeah, I said that you and he discussed it, what you were gonna give him. He already knew what his salary was gonna be.
He was not,
You made him an offer for the job before we approved it.
no, I asked him.
Okay, this is, I'm done. There's a motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now accuse me of not being able to discuss this, throwing something in the ground. Okay, number 18, review, discuss, consider amending levy passed on September 29th.
I realize that Commissioner Hinkle passed out a levy suggestion, which I came up with one as.
Can somebody explain to me what we're amending?
What we're amending. if we
Or what
want-
we want, what somebody wants to amend?
So far, I'd like to amend based on public input from our last meeting that we need to, take the health department up. We need to take Parks and Rec back up because I was told that they were told that they would not get cut, and yet this commission cut. So everything else is pretty much the same. Except I included the 5% increase, which I still, up to this point, you've not given me a reason why not to include that. It's been working for the last 15 years. These people don't operate in a vacuum, their costs go up.
So and your recommendation is to take the health department of 41,952.
My
I think
my recommendation is to take them up. I'm still talking about mine passing. Just to take that. Seniors to 250, I'll just read it all out. 250 to the seniors, 700 to the Harrison County Emergency Squad, 71,000 by county, 71,000 to Health Access, 71,000 Susan Duval, 200,000 to the Health Department, 30,000 to Child Advocacy, 1.2 million to Parks and Rec, 500,000 Harrison County Courthouse Security, 500,000 to Harrison County Animal Control, and $788,744 to 911, and $0 for the Harrison County Improvement Fund, makes it a total of $4.381,744 first physical year, and at 5%, at the end of 5 years, it'll go up $800,000. And allow these people to fund, and if there's any changes in the values, which have gone down, I don't know how many times I have to say this, over the last 2 years, and they'll probably continue to go down. If you lock them in at one rate, you got the whole thing, that $700,000 is going to decrease.
Madam President, I make the motion that we take staff recommendation to bump up the health department.
My motion is to pass this as I presented it and to make it part of today's record.
Okay, the motion is to approve the amended levy that Mr. Hinkle just presented to be placed on record, which increases, I believe, that's just as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Okay, review, discuss where money is coming for paving.
Hold on one second.
There was another
Motion to take staff recommendation.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Motion to take staff recommendation to increase the health department from the previous amount.
What is staff recommendation?
Staff recommendation is to take it up to our original number we came up with, which was $193,796. It adds $41,952 per year to the levy. Will not change the levy rate. And increase to the levy over 5 years will be $209,000.
So we're going to increase the levy rate.
No, the levy rate does not increase.
So you're not gonna adjust Parks and Rec?
No, it was not my recommendation.
Is that what this commission's gonna cut Parks and Rec? I wanna know, I want to go on the record.
Yes,
You're gonna cut Parks and Rec?
yes.
Why?
I don't have to tell you why. That was voted on last week. You could have asked before.
Citizens don't need to know why you cut it?
Because I don't feel that they need that kind of money. We went back and looked at the last few years and they didn't use all the money. So,
That's because of COVID, right?
no, I said the last few years.
Well, how many years did you go back?
You don't have to interrogate me. I don't have
I'm
to take, I'm not,
asking Laura.
so-
She's the one that came up with the number. I'm assuming I
but
haven't seen any
I'm
from
about
anybody
it. This is nuts, guys. This is crazy.
I mean, I know Parks and Rec,
don't- how
was
you-
promised that they weren't gonna get cut. So why did they get cut?
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Review, discuss where money is coming from payroll.
It has always been my understanding that $600,000 comes from each of the following: whole severance fund and also the community improvement fund.
I have nothing to say on this. I don't know why it's here or who put it there,
I
so.
did, because I'd like to know, what people in the county know where you're getting the money.
She just told you, is that good enough?
How much was already in for rail trails
How much of
in the budget?
we budgeted $140,905 in the Parks and Rec line item. Actually, the next item on the agenda, or maybe the number 23, is to do a budget revision, since we've spent money out of Parks and Rec for rail trail, and it's been made abundantly clear that rail trail does not fall under Parks and Rec. I am going to
How much money have we spent in Park and Rec on rail trails?
$5,000
That's it? We paid for all the bridge work out of county money?
this year. This fiscal year, we spent $5,000.
So all the bridges we fixed, it's just in this year or last year?
Some of the building supplies came out of last year as well.
So they started fixing the bridges before July 1st?
So we're here to discuss the paving and she's discussing.
I'm trying to figure out, Susan, whose money
We're making sure that Parks and Rec is whole, am I correct?
You are correct. We spent out of that line item from Parks and Rec.
The motion to move forward with staff recommendation.
I want to know where the money's coming from.
She just told you, I made the motion to approve it.
In the previous,
That's nice, but I'm not satisfied yet.
Well, then take it up with her after the meeting.
No, we're gonna discuss it. What part of review and discuss is it that you think that you can just put a stop to?
What order do you want to review and discuss? Do you want to take it
We
out of
review
somewhere
and
else?
discuss things 2 and 3 and 4 times.
Yeah, where do you want to take it from?
Let's get this done and put it to bed,
Yeah, where do you want to take it from, Dave?
please.
That's what I'm trying to find out where she's taking it from.
She just told you.
But you say it again, Laura, please, where's this money coming from?
Oh, you can't remember.
For the
You just-
paving?
Yes, for the paving.
under full severance and
Uh-huh.
community improvement
And
fund.
how much is coming from coal severance?
It was always my understanding, 600,000 comes from full severance and 600,000 comes from community improvement fund.
And how much was the paving?
The paving is less than that. I don't have the exact numbers off my head.
So we don't need to spend that much money from each one of those things.
Well, there'll be ditching and there'll be grading and there'll be,
That's not all part of the paving, but what?
you're just trying to be specific, because if they ditch and they take money out of it, you'll say, well, that was just supposed to be for saving. Then you can say, well, wait a minute. I mean,
I mean, I thought they bid to pave the. Okay, so what was that final bid?
doesn't matter what the bid is. We have $600,000 going towards the Salem end of the town, and we have $600,000 going to Shenstone part of town. It's already been approved. It's been approved 50 times because of you, and I don't know what you don't understand about approved.
We haven't approved it.
We have approved it. We've been approving it since March.
We haven't approved any revision.
So motion to take staff recommendation where to take the $600,000 out of for each end of the way.
I just think that's insane that you're gonna take 600,000 out of each bid of,
Well,
to pay something that only came in under 200,000. So what's the point of the other
I
400,000?
think it's insane that we spent $250,000 in interest this week, but at the same time, that's what we do. Motion to approve, please.
Okay,
So we're
motion's
gonna
been made
transfer
to,
600,000 out of both of
That's
those
not-
accounts.
that's not this budget revision. This budget revision is to take 140,000 and put into part, or 500.
I'm sorry, things are getting a little mixed up. This-
Exactly.
This item
I'm
right
just
We're
here,
asking
not
where the
moving
money's coming from
$600,000. That's already been, the $600,000 has already been voted on. There's no need to move back.
No.
We are just discussing $140,000 budget revision today. Period. The end. Correct, Laura? Thank you. So what is the motion? What is your motion, Mr. Treecost,
Motion to take the money out of staff's recommendation
for number 23?
for number, no, ma'am.
Number 19.
P one nineteen works at 600
Yeah.
per pay.
But we're not taking, we don't need, he just wanted to know where it's coming
Okay, I
from.
apologize then. No motion on the floor then. Now, if you want to jump to 23, take staff.
I thought we
recommendation.
already jumped down there to figure out where money came from.
I don't know.
Did we not do that?
Yes, they got messy for a second and intertwined.
anymore.
I don't know either. I'm trying to keep up, but it's awful hard.
Make it motion then for 23 to take staff recommendation for the budget revision and leave park and rec alone and move it back to planning. Thank you.
Okay, the motion is to approve the staff's recommendation for the budget revision 002 for fiscal year 21-22.
Yes.
And what's it for?
She just told you.
I want to hear it again.
This is to put, originally it was budgeted 140,905 for rails to trails. Originally, it was staff recommendation to put that under Parks and Rec. But we cannot spend it out of Parks and Rec. That has become abundantly clear, so we're trying to fix these things.
Thank you.
So in turn, we're taking 140,905 from the computer line item and move it under planning for the rail trail where the money has always been in the past.
I thought we already had 600,000 already approved over there, so why are we taking 140? If you're taking 600, why didn't you take it out of cold sever?
It was already approved as part of the budget, David.
Why are we moving money out of the courthouse for paving?
We're not. We're not. This is just Rails for Trails general.
Yeah, this is not the paving.
It's, okay, so this is just to move it over to planning and zoning.
Under planning on their line item, rails to trails.
It doesn't say that, it just says planning and zoning.
It's already staff recommendation. Staff's recommendation was that we put it in the levy. You said you didn't want it in the levy, so we're doing exactly what you said.
Wasn't there money already in?
$140,000 was budgeted in March.
There was zero money in planning this year. for rails
She
to
had the
trails.
same 150,000 last year and the year before and the year before.
So
But it was
we're-
always in
we're taking
planning and
this
not
money
levy.
from computer software over to trails.
No.
I'm looking at it right here. It says computer software, original budget 300,
No.
decreased by 140, increased rail trail projects by 149.05.
No.
It's not what you have right here.
That is
What
what
it
the
says.
paperwork says.
So where are you gonna get the money if we need it back for computer software? Where does it come from? Aren't we just taking it out of the multiple funds? Why are we reducing computer software by half?
Well, computer software has had money in it for the past fiscal year, but they have never spent any money out. The only time that they spent money out was in 2019, and they spent a total of $3,615.
Are we sure it's just not the way it's put into accounting that somebody's missed it? Because I know they buy computer software.
And that could be possible, but the numbers don't lie. In the past couple of years, we have not spent a penny out of that line item. So to move money to planning rail to trail line item, that is where my recommendation at this time is to take it from.
Was this discussed with IT department? Because we gave him this budget.
Okay, the motion is on the floor.
I'm still trying to figure out, Susan, why we're pulling money from computer software.
She told you, Motion is on the table, as stated. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No,
Okay,
so now we're up to 1.3 million for real.
review, discuss amendments to county purchasing procedures.
I'd like to make a motion to recess for lunch. I'm not sure we got why.
Why don't we just move the rest of these to next week? Because I
No,
believe
I'd
Mr.
like to talk
Treehouse,
about it
Mr.
this week.
Treehouse has something he has to get
Mr.
to.
Treehouse is supposed to be a county commissioner.
Well, so aren't you. So aren't you.
Okay, and I missed how many meetings?
I'm not going there.
there.
I'm not going there. I'm not here to
Again,
count your
I'm
hours.
making a
Oh,
motion to go into recess.
okay,
for
motion's
lunch.
been made to go into recess for lunch. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. No. Okay,
Well, I'm excusing myself for medical reasons. Let the record know that I have left because my fellow commissioners do not take into account health.
that is not true.
That
I
is
do take
true.
into
I
account.
asked
If you want me to go
for you.
get you something, I will gladly go get you something.
No, I need to go eat lunch.
Because I know Hazel, you've had Hazel bring you stuff in here before, so. I've
Hazel
witnessed
here?
it. Huh?
Hazel here?
No, but I'll go get it for you. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Well, okay, so you're gonna leave me. But we're gonna go into recess.
If you want to go to the machine, like you had her do one day, and bring you cookies and crackers, we'll do that. Okay, and I apologize. So review, discuss amendments to purchasing procedures. I don't know anything about that.
No discussion.
Okay, move on to amendments to employees manual concerning discipline. I think we discussed that already. We already discussed 22, if I'm not mistaken, new job description. I think we voted on it.
You are correct. That was on there twice.
Okay. Now we're down to administrator's report.
So we have spent $5,049.39 out of Parks and Rec rail trail line item. How would you like me to pay the money back to them? Would you like it to come out of this line item that we just approved from planning department rails to trails to pay back the Parks and Rec? But I want them to think that we.
Right, no, I want a paper trail so they know that they got their money.
And then that way we can keep track that rail to trail was spent under this line item.
Yes.
I will take care of that. It'll be on the agenda for next week. Monday, October 11th, the courthouse will be closed for the holiday, Columbus Day. Any agenda items need to be into the commission office by tomorrow at 11 a.m. because the agenda will have to be posted to the public by Friday. Earlier this week, the sheriff reported some good news for the county. Fiscal year collection for 19 and 20 versus 20 and 21. We had an increase of $5.1 million in tax collection. They do a great job down there. We definitely appreciate their hard work. Collecting the taxes. Elevator one's going to be down for a few weeks, and the janitor service started. They are with our current janitorial staff to train and learn the building. That is all I have.
Thank you.
Madam President, I apologize. I do have to go. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Hey, John.
Speaker.